Hello, hello, and welcome back. This is After the Greatness, day number 4. Holy shit. Oh man, it has been amazing. It has been an excellent week. Um yeah, it's already Thursday. It's hard to believe that we're already going to be done. That we're already at the end of the final Dare to be Great. It's it's bittersweet, man. It feels like it was just yesterday that, I was getting ready to, kick off day 1. Like, it feels like yeah, just yesterday, I was, getting everything prepared, getting all the last stuff, put out there for everyone for the kickoff of the week. Gary, say it ain't so. It's a good Weezer song, by the way. Say it ain't so. Whoa, whoa. Oh man, it has been a day, just session after session after session, and it has been a good one. There's been a lot of excellent sessions. We're just going to go through some of them here really quick, and then we'll wrap it up for after the greatness and then get stuff prepared for tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be full of sessions as well, but it'll be like panel discussions. So I just want to go over some of the stuff really quick. So we started out early. Well, I mean, just like all week, 8 a.m. And well, I guess it was 7 a.m. It was earlier for my keynote speaker because she lives in the central time zone. So it was earlier for her. It was like 6 a quarter to 7, excuse me, when she joined me in the green room. But we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in there. We were dancing, we were doing a bunch of stuff. If you've watched the replay, we did some of that dancing at the end of it. But it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. So the keynote speaker this morning was Dr. Michelle Lilly, and she's with the Northern Illinois University, and she did a session called um, "What is Greatness." Excuse me. And so just the synopsis of her session was this session will focus on the concept of greatness and how we can achieve the things that are most important to us in life. Now, when she had first sent me that information, that little bit of information, um, I wasn't sure all of like what she was going to be doing. And it wasn't until we went into the green room this morning that she did tell me. And she told me she was going to be talking about her mom and who had recently passed away. And I just kind of looked at her and I was like, all right, let's do this. And it was very powerful, the story that she shared. And she had said in the beginning, she's like, I might get a little emotional or anything. It's like, it's all right. And she's like, yeah, no, it is all right, it's okay. And she did her thing, she did her session, and it was just amazing. So please go back, watch that one. Every single keynote was just so good, and every session has been awesome. Uh, Christy over here says, how long will the sessions be available to watch? We had a hospital stay this week, so I couldn't watch. So, Christy, I will tell you right off the bat, they are there forever. They are there. As long as I'm paying the the bill, those sessions will be there forever. I mean, the sessions from Dare to Be Great 4 or so years ago are still there as well, and people are still registering for that one too. All of the sessions are there. So if you go to withinthetrenches.net and then go to virtual events, all the main links go to okay, good, thank you. She says, yes, they're there forever. If you go to virtual events on withinthetrenches.net, that'll take you to all of the main stuff for Dare to Be Great 6. But there is a link there on the drop down, the very bottom one, and I think it says all. virtual events or all events or something like that, and that will show you Dare to Be Great 1 through 5. Actually, I think I might have to add the link for number 5, but 1 through 4 are there, and all of the other virtual events that I've done as well. There are tons of continuing education there for 911 professionals. So you can make sure to check that out there. But yes, for the current Dare to Be Great that's going on this week, they are there. There's no time limit. You can go back and watch as many times as you want. So everything is there. What I do want to show here really quick, and something that I'm going to post up on social media as well. Gary says, I use those sessions as fillers for some of my in-service trainings. Yes. Yeah, that's why they're there, man. It's there for everyone for free. That is probably been one of the best things about Dare to Be Great. And it's something that I had wanted to do for a long time, actually, and that was just offer some sort of free training for folks who, whether they're dispatchers can or not, their dispatch, the dispatch centers can't afford to send people to places, or if there are 911 professionals that are putting their own money into choosing themselves and working for different things, they're able to go back and watch all of those and watch them for free. That's been one of the best things about this. So I want to share this here really quick. This is a picture that um that Michelle and I took right at the end. Was it at no, it was in the beginning. It was right before we ended up starting. We took this picture. That's right. Okay, so here it is. We were having a lot of fun in the green room. And so we were going to take a picture. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, let's take a funny one because Michelle had taken a picture on her phone. And I said, oh, I got to get one too. And I said, hold on. I said, I want to take a screenshot and and put that share it on social media as well. So I said, let's take a funny one really quick. So there's us. Oh man, this is so funny. But we had a lot of fun. In the past, one of the things that I would do is I would or my friend who helped me out as well, Leah out of Michigan, she would record some of the stuff in the green room because she could watch while we were in there talking and stuff. And sometimes we would throw some music on and we'd be dancing, doing our thing, and it was I would have some clips of that, and maybe now that everything is going to be wrapping up and stuff, I can put some of those old clips together and turn it into like a TikTok or a reel or something like that, just as a just kind of reflecting and reminiscing on all the fun that we have had for Dare to Be Great and a lot of the other um, virtual events that we had. So I'm going to bring this back off of there. And Dave, what's up, Dave's fantastic day. Ricardo, he says, looking forward to connecting with you in the new year. Yes, you as well, sir. Dave actually was the next speaker, the ripple effect, subtle signs of stress. And just the synopsis here says participants in the session will learn from true lived experiences of the presenter, the effects of critical incident stress and PTSI from actual experiences, how initially the first incident was not managed well, and how the second incident was dealt with effectively. Again, all of these sessions, man, go back and check them out. Dave shared his story, a very powerful story, and I can only imagine it being, cathartic in a way as well to share it and get it out there and have others learn from his experiences as well. And we're going to be talking going into 2025 for having him come on for an episode to share more of his story. So that was an excellent one. Thank you, sir, once again. The next one coming up after that was by Chris Inman, and he did a session called Communicating Discipline, the Critical Exchange. So many, just not just in this session, but again, in all of the sessions, so much information that I just, it's stuff that I wish that I had when I was in dispatch as well. Now, also during that time, not that it was tons of years ago or anything, like we did have technology, some technology, and we did have the internet and social media, but it wasn't like what we have now. There wasn't as many resources. It wasn't easy to do virtual events and everything, but also because I mean the internet was good, right? But it wasn't the way it is now. And there wasn't as many like I guess devices, different ways to do what a lot of us do with a lot of the continuing education, but especially on virtual events. So there's stuff that I wish that we had, back during that time that I was in dispatch as well, because all of this information would have been awesome. It would have been mostly, putting in for a conference if you knew that there were conferences that were, really going on, because in some centers, and I don't know how it is now, but at least in even going up to like 2010, 2011, and such, like towards the end of my dispatch career before I retired out and went to the private side of 911, we weren't really talking about a lot of the conferences that were out there. I mean, you had the national conferences and then you had state conferences. I went to 2 maybe state conferences, and that was Michigan when I was in dispatch. I didn't know that there was a mothership, that there was a national NINA. I didn't know that there was a national APCO. There was just a lot of stuff that wasn't really talked about that much. So it was really cool to have all of these folks throughout this whole week have all of this information going in. So back to Chris Inman over here. If you didn't watch his session, you need to go back even for the very first picture that he shows. It's a picture of him, and his hair is epic. Epic. That's all I can say. I don't want to give it away. Like you got to see it. And then stay for the rest, because he has a lot of good information in there. It was awesome. And the next coming up after that was Steve Turchin, and he had an excellent session too. It's leadership reimagined, followership. And I took a couple screenshots, and I want to see if I can pull it up here. Got to find the right one. I think this is one of them. There we go. So this was a quick screenshot. It just says what leaders need from followers. Okay. What leaders need from followers. And it says a can do attitude, a collaborative approach, the personal drive to stay current, and the passion to drive personal growth. So that was one of those there. And the next one was what followers need from leaders. Okay, what followers need from leaders. And the 3 things he had up there, he did ask the audience. So if you go back to that one, all of that information is still in the comments. It'll remain in the comments, even though it's not live, it's in the replay. All of that information remains. So you can go back in there and check that out as well. So for what followers need from leaders is clear goals and direction, frequent, specific, and immediate feedback, and then coaching to develop potential. And one of the other things that people were saying that, that the followers need from leaders is understanding, patience. There were so many of them. There's so many good ones. Again, I love recapping the day, but I always, I always want to just be like, You got to go check it out." And I think we're at 979 attendees. Maybe it was 980 already. I'm not sure. Either way, there's about 20 attendees that we need to hit that goal of 1,000. So make sure to share all the information for Dare to Be Great 6. We can hit that goal. And either way, we're going out with a bang, and it has been excellent. Next up was my good buddy Gary Hill, and he did a session called 911. I have the emergency. How my 911 job saved my life. Why your purpose is important. Such a powerful session. Damn, such a powerful session, bro. Your story. I, as I was sitting here, it's a good thing I'll just say this, it was a good thing that my microphone was muted, because 'cause I'm sitting here like because it was such a deep, um, and powerful story, like, man, I could relate with you, to you, that is, and so many other folks, and I was just feeling it. And that's one of the things that we tell people all the time, like, it's okay to feel. Like, go ahead, like, let it out if you need to. So, you're telling your story, the moments that, you heard the podcast and us meeting when we were in Baltimore and you getting a chance to share, during Imagine Listening, and then, your continued growth and, the help that you were getting and all of that. Man, it was just so good, and I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. Gary says there were some moments I almost lost it. I could tell. I could see it as you were there and you were talking, and you even said, and I noticed it as well, that there was a kind of a moment where you were kind of looking down at some of your notes, and then you just had a moment where you're like, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna talk, and it was great, man. Don't stop. Like, keep doing what you do, because people need to hear it, and that is it's inspiring and it's motivating. All of you in your sessions, everything that you put forth, it's needed. The session after Gary's was with Marissa Almoyer, and her session was called PTSD. Me, no way. And so we had we had a couple of technical difficulties. She was at work, and she didn't know that. And like, nobody really knows sometimes, like, we don't ever think about it, but like at work and stuff, man, IT departments, they end up locking down the internet. So the cool thing though was that I had said to her, I was like, okay, last resort, let's go to Zoom, because the majority of people, like, I don't know, 10 years ago they used to use Skype for everything, and that would be allowed. Now it's Zoom, and everyone uses Zoom, and everything worked perfect. So I was able to get her on Zoom, import her over to Crowdcast, pipe her audio through. I'm just glad that I have the equipment to be able to do it. And the very, very last resort would have been for me to get access to her PowerPoint, or her presentation on Canva, and then have her call me on my cell phone, and I would pipe in the cell phone audio through my audio interface so that everybody could at least hear her. Yes, that's something that I've done before in the past, but it was perfect. It worked perfect, and she was able to do her session. Again, another very powerful story of things that she's gone through in her life, and just talking about some of those things, getting them out there, other people in the audience, relating, and just putting it all together, and get a hold of her with everything that she does as well. Just an excellent human, and just good stuff. Gary says Ricardo fixing the world. I don't know. But we got it to work. I've done enough of these and enough testing that there's always a solution for something, man. And what better person than someone who comes from dispatch, where you have to think quick, you got to think on your feet, think outside the box, all of it. And I'm just glad that we're able to do it. And we were able to figure it out, because I wanted to make sure that she was able to give that session, because it was definitely an important one. So finishing off the day today was Shannon Polito, and she did a session called Realistic Wellness for Dispatchers. And holy shit, if you did not watch that one live, please go back and watch the replay, because there were, again, just like all of them, so many good things in there, so much information, that while I was watching, in my head, I was thinking, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Oh, shit, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. Oh, there were there are a bunch of different things. Like, one of the things that she mentioned was what disrupts sleep food, caffeine, alcohol, like activities, misplaced priorities, like all of these different things. I mean, one of the things that she even mentioned as well that I was like, oh, wow, that makes sense was that I guess kind of like a myth or misconception as well about like, let's just say alcohol for example. I remember I would come home from a 12-hour shift and I would get home, even if it was snowing like it is right now outside, even if it was snowing and it was a blizzard, I would go out to my deck and I would get, a shovel and I would shovel a pathway to my grill, okay? And I would have 2 beers. I'd have 2 Coronas, and I would set them in the snow, of course, to keep them cold, right? Turn on that grill, and I would start grilling a nice, fat ribeye steak so that I could have steak and eggs. And of course, cars would be passing by and I'm all waving at them. I'm like, "Yep, I'm the dumbass out here in the," but you know what? When it comes to grilling, no weather is gonna stop me. No weather is gonna stop me. If I'm grilling, I'm doing it. So, I would, I would eat, I would have those couple of beers, and I would, well, of course, I would let my food settle before going to sleep, but, I would go and crash out, but then I would wake up kind of early, and she was talking about how, it kinda inhibits, like, the brain and everything, like, you wake up. That's why it's such a social thing because you get relaxed, right, and you get a little tired and stuff, but then you're, like, back at it, you're ready to go, and that's why you think that you're gonna relax yourself enough to straight up go to sleep, but then you end up abruptly waking up and you're like, "What the hell?" That was one of those moments where I was like, "That makes so much sense." Yes. Yeah, all of it. So again, go check that one out. That's so much stuff. Angie over here says, "I had a few oh shit moments for sure." Yeah, yeah, exactly. Gary says, "Grill gets shoveled out before cars at my house." I can relate. Yep, I can relate. Excuse me. So, I wanna see some of the other stuff. I took some screenshots. So, um, she also talked about sleep hygiene. And, like, I don't know, sometimes I think about this, sometimes I don't, and I think a lot of us are the same where we're like, "Oh, yeah, I pay attention to that." No, you probably really don't. Some do, right? Some probably do, and if you are one of those, well done. I know I try to, but I don't. So, for sleep hygiene, um, true darkness. True darkness, room temperature. I think she said that 65 degrees is, like, the temperature for sleeping and sleeping well, because if you're sleeping hot, your body starts freaking out like you're dying or something and you get up, right? So, the other thing, sounds or device activity, and then house rules as well. So like the device activity, like scrolling, like that keeps your brain going, keeps your brain going. A lot of things that I've read as well says don't keep a TV in your phone, because or on your don't keep a TV in your phone. That's not what I meant. Don't keep a TV in your room because it disrupts your sleep as well. Well, I have a TV in my room, and I don't know. Maybe it disrupts me. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know, because sometimes I sleep like a rock, dude, like a Chevy, like a rock. Sorry. But the temperature, I mean, how many of you um end up going to sleep with a blanket on and you get warm and you put one leg out to balance your temperature? I know I do. And you know what's funny is that I'm awake enough that when I do it and I start to doze back off, I think, this is so stupid. But I fall back asleep and it is what it is, man. It's hilarious. And Chris says almost every night. Angie says, night shifter here, so a lot of what she said is crazy helpful. Yes, same. I was night shift, except for a small stint, or of course, if I was working overtime, but a small stint where I worked mornings for like 4 or 5 months, I think it was. But otherwise, it was always midnight shift. Like that was my jam, man. I loved midnight shift. That was my thing. Angie goes on to say, but I have jolted awake in complete darkness, wondering where I was, what time is it, what day is it, where am I supposed to be at. Yes, I have done the same. So I'll tell you a quick story. When I very first started dispatching, it was at a small PD in Central Florida, and the schedule changed every 2 weeks. Okay, every 2 weeks. It was 6A to 2P, 2P to 10P, and 10P to 6A. Now, when you got in that midnight shift, you were on that midnight shift for about a month, and then you go back to the morning shift. Now, I'm pretty sure it was just when I had started and I had gotten to that midnight shift, and then I'd gone back to the mornings. And I was working my 6A to 2P, came home, was hanging out with my family. My grandmother, we were hanging out and stuff. We were talking. She had made, some food. Like I came home at like 2:30 and PM, that is, and I got tired and I went and took a nap. I woke up just the way you mentioned, Angie, and I jolted awake. It was one of those, oh my god, what time is it? And it's dark outside. Okay? It's like dusk and I'm freaking out. And I know I've shared this story before, but I'm sharing it again. I was freaking out because I looked at the clock. Kim, hey, what's going on? I looked at the clock and it was like 6:30 or something like that. And I'm looking outside and I'm freaking out and I run to the phone and my grandmother is just laughing her butt off at me. And I in my head I'm like, "Stop shaming me." Like, "Why are you laughing at me?" And I called the dispatch. I didn't even realize who it was who picked up the phone, but it was my coworker Harry. And I said, "Harry," I was like, "I am so sorry, man. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will be in. I will be in. Is just let me just wash my face. I fell asleep in my clothes. Like I'll be right there. I'll be right there." And as I'm saying all of this, I can't tell that he is also talking at the same time until I finally start to hear him, and he's like, "Ricardo, Ricardo," and I was like, what? What?" And he goes, "It's like 6:30 in the evening. It's still the same day." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "It's the same day." He goes, "I just relieved you like 4 hours ago. It's the same day." And I said, "Oh." I said, "I'm so sorry, man." I said, I was freaking out. I said, "I took a nap. I woke up and I looked outside and I was okay. Okay." And my grandmother is still laughing at me. And then he starts laughing and he's like, "The person who's here in the at for night shift will see you in the morning." And I was like, "All right, man." And he's like, "All right, I'll let you go." And I was like, "Okay." And I get off the phone and my grandma, who only spoke Spanish, but I mean, a little bit of English here and there, but she definitely understood more than she let on. She's just laughing and she's like, "So, you all right?" And I and I told her and she was just laughing at me. Like I can see her laughing at me right now. Uh God, I miss you. Yeah. So definitely had one of those moments where I thought that was going on. Angie says uh this time of year when it gets dark so early, you never know if it is 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. Yes, and that was exactly what happened to me. And I was, oh man, I will never forget that though. It was such a, it's funny now, but in the moment I was, yeah, I was freaking out. I was shitting my pants. Oh man. Well, that was the session. There was another session that was supposed to follow up Shannon's, and that was my good friend Juliet Brown. She ended up getting ill though, and we are going to end up recording that session when she's 100%. Her and Samantha Hawkins, they're going to be doing the session together. So when she gets better, we're going to record that. And instead of the message that I have in there where I'm just kind of talking and stuff, that will get replaced. So that will end up getting replaced, and it'll just be her session. When we do so, I will share it all over social media that it has been added, and then you can all go and check it out. Ruth over here says that's why all my clocks are 24-hour time. You know, that probably would have saved me a lot, but now I have that moment, and it makes for a funny story. But if I went back, no, I couldn't go back in time to change that because it's just too funny. But that is a good thing for anybody who's trying to get used to nights going into days and all that other stuff. To save you from a moment like that, do what Ruth does, change your clocks to 24-hour time. That'll help you out. That'll work. So tomorrow, tomorrow is the final day. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. Oh man, but that was funny to me. So tomorrow's gonna be the last day of Dare to Be Great, of this virtual event that I put together that I had no idea was going to end up the way it is today. And it has been just an amazing, amazing time. And but it's time to take a break for a while on this. So never say never, but this is the last one. And it has been quite the experience. And it has been awesome to be able to give back and just have this free event where people can go and listen to some of their favorite speakers and be able to do it not only for free, but if they could not watch live, that they would be able to um go back and watch it on demand as many times as they want. So tomorrow is going to be 4 sessions. They're all an hour and a half each, and they're all panel discussions. So it's going to be an excellent one. Make sure to tune in. But Roxy says he's been saying that for the last two. Just saying. You know, it's true. I did when I did Dare to Be Great 3. I had said it was the last one, and I just wanted to do a trilogy. But there were so many people who were saying that I needed to continue doing it because of the reasons that I said, that that was inspiration and motivation enough to continue for a few more. But this is number 6, and like I said, never say never, but I need to take a break for a while. So that's why I'm saying this is the last one. The first session tomorrow at 9 a.m., not 8, at 9 a.m. Eastern time from 9 to 10:30 is going to be a session called wait, Chris says, if we get 1,000 attendees, you have to do DGBG 7. Oh man. Well, I mean, we're only 20, about 20 away, but either way, we'll see what happens. Oh man. The one the one tomorrow to start out is gonna be hear us out. And it says admin isn't in quotes always against you. And this is gonna be awesome. We've got a great set of leadership that are going to be on this panel. They're going to be talking. Keely Heyman out of New Jersey is going to be moderating this session, and they're really what they're going to be doing is kind of bridging that gap. okay, between um, everyone that's there. We're talking like frontline supervisors, CTOs, up all the way up to leadership and everything. I mean, everybody is leaders. So everyone is really part of the leadership group. But what I'm talking is like directors, deputy directors, and such. Really on a kind of a things that I wish I knew when I was in the front line as well before moving up and going into a deputy director or director position, because there's a lot of stuff that us on the front line that we don't know or that we don't understand. Well, now is your chance. You're going to get to learn more, and you're going to be able to ask questions. There are several anonymous questions that were sent in as well, and it's really going to be, again, kind of bridging that gap, because I know there's a lot of times where these folks that are going to be in the panel, but also us, maybe we've had that thought of, is are the higher ups like against us, or are they against me or something like that? But we just don't, some things that we just don't understand. So it'll be good to hear each one of their stories and some of the things that they learned that they wish they knew in the beginning, so that we can bridge that gap of communication and understand each other. So it's going to be very powerful, be profound and everything. The next one after that is going to be staffing the 911 world, how to hire and develop quality employees and create a desirable work environment to encourage lifelong careers. And that is going to be from my good friends out of Eaton County 911 out of Michigan. Their director, Kelly Cunningham, and one of the supervisors, Libby Howland. They're going to be doing this session. This was a session that they did at National APCO as well. So it's going to be awesome to have them on there. Good friend Roxy Van Gundy, as well as Courtney Dauberstein and Casey Sexton. They are going to be talking about the NINA Wellness Program. Again, every single one of these panel discussions is an hour for the panel and then 30 minutes for Q&A. So make sure you come with questions and just ready to discuss, because that's what these 4 sessions are about, our panels. When I was putting this stuff together for the final Dare to Be Great, I thought, you know what, why not add the 5th day? Let's make it a whole week. Let's make it epic. Let's go out with a bang. But the last day, do some panel discussions where we've got 90 minutes to go through all of this stuff. The last session is going to be No Dispatcher Left Behind. And I'll just read the synopsis on this really quick. And it says, it has been said that it takes a special type of person to work as a 911 professional. The mission to serve and the love for this profession quickly get into your blood. But what happens when the mission ends? For some, we may feel lost. Who am I now? When the voices of haunting calls return, who can we reach out to? We can reach out to our 911 family. However, once we are out, some of us feel as though we can no longer reach out to them. Some of us are left struggling alone. In this session, we will explore what people go through when they leave dispatch and how others have overcome these challenges, ensuring that no dispatcher is left behind. I cannot wait for every single one of these sessions tomorrow, but especially this one here. We've got some good friends that are going to be joining me for that panel. One, Roxy Van Gundy, as well as the co-hosts and creators of After the Tones Drop podcast. It's going to be Aaron and Cinnamon. And I did say my good friend Roxy, but that is Cinnamon Jr., um, who's going to be jumping in there as well. And it's just going to be a great day tomorrow and a great way to wrap up an awesome event. And at the very end, I will be going live. Now, I was been thinking that I'm going to go live on Circle, but I might go live on all of the social media. So I'm still trying to think about that, how to figure it out, because I want to continue to build the community that I have out there and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. So let me think about that. I'll make sure to mention it at the end where I'm going to be going, so that you know, because during that last after the greatness, I'm going to be talking about kind of the history of Dare to Be Great, how it started and how we got to here. But also at the end, there are going to be some giveaways. And to enter those giveaways, I shared posts on the Facebook podcast page, as well as X, as well as Instagram. Find those posts and read what it says on there and enter there, and I will add your name, and I will have a randomizer for the names that are there, and those will be for all of the giveaways that I'm going to be doing. But the very last giveaway is going to be a registration to the September 2025 911 leadership event that is out in Bandera, Texas at the Mayan Ranch that I've been talking about and talk about all the time. Now, of course, you have to find your way, you have to get yourself out there, plane and such, your travel, but the registration covers the entire ranch. That's your lodging, that's your food, that's the entire week of amazing training. Unique training that you won't get anywhere else but the ranch. That is the grand prize, and that's going to be tomorrow at the very end. So make sure to join. Make sure to look for those posts. They're there on the podcast page. I already reshared it, so it's there. I hope to see you all tomorrow, not just for the giveaways at the end, and you have to be present to win, okay? Especially with that last one. You have to be present. So, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have an excellent night, and I will see you early in the morning. Well, it won't be that early. It's going to be 9 in the morning. But either way, I will see you all tomorrow. It is going to be awesome. Have a good night, everyone. I love you all, and we'll see you at the next one.